Hey everyone, and welcome to Unsupervised Consequences, day number 38, and we are talking about change. So this is a chronicle of I get started off just explaining what I've been going through with regards to going from over 450 pounds to now a very, very slender 275. It's not slender, I'm still fat, but you know what I mean. I've lost 170 between 175 and 225 pounds, somewhere in that range, because I was over 450, may have been 500, not really sure. But today we are talking about change. And to start off, hey, Rita, to start it off, we are with a quote is consciousness is only possible through change. Change is only possible through movement. And it's attributed to Aldous Huxley. Now, change is a nightmare. Let's be honest with that. I always am on the prowl because I was a bastard of a young person, and when old people couldn't figure out change, I would outwardly just mock them and be like, "That's disappointing. You should be a better old person. You should know what you're doing, and you should be adaptable." How very wrong I was, and I'm having my just desserts at this point. But like today, I posted on Facebook was that I usually post a reel because I try and hang or support myself on a contraption as I'm trying to progressively get stronger and be able to do a chin up. With that being said, one of the things is that I hang from a chin up thing that I built, or I had a friend build, and with that I do it 3 times. So I post one on YouTube, one on Facebook, and one on Instagram. And Facebook isn't working. And I'm like, oh my God, is this just me becoming old and I can't figure it out? I'm pressing the wrong button. I tried it 3 times. I'm not pressing the wrong button because other people are having the same issue. Interestingly enough, it's all older people as well, but I don't know. So that's one of the things. Change is inevitable. Disappointingly, a lot of the quotes that I tried to look for when it came to change were all people who are like motivational speakers and stuff. And motivational speakers are weird because a lot of them are it's a lot of buzzwords. And if you ever worked in an office, especially in like the 2000s, there are words like synergy and there's a management style called Sigma Six, and you're like, yeah, that's crazy stuff. Like, or you could just be a human being and talk with people. It's just very simple. Like, there's a certain amount where you're like, hey, that's good knowledge and growth, because that's, like for me, I'm trying to stay inspired but also inspire others, to create kind of a feedback loop of inspiration. That's one of the main things too, right? Like, if I want to change, I have to do things that I've never done before to get to a destination I've never been to. It's very simple. It sounds paradoxical. It's not. It's you have to do something you've never done before to get to where you've never been. Very simple, right? So that idea is so very difficult to stomach on a regular basis. It's on a regular basis. It's one of those things that we all have problem. Now, that being said, um, it's a mindset or a perspective that we're fighting with on a regular basis, and that's for a lot of things. Like for me, today I had one meal. I made. I've been working with my smoker, and it's actually turning out really well. I did a beef tenderloin. It was delicious. We did some vegetables, some onions. Everything got caramelized. It was delicious. And then I was like, I'm gonna have some cookies as dessert, which is a horrible idea. So now for the next 24 hours, I'm gonna be riding that sugar, or hopefully my body will be able to deal with it, and then I'll be okay. But that's the consequences of my actions, right? And for me, one of the hard things that I'm doing, and the reason why I'm doing these fasts, is because I have to change that relationship with sugar. Because let's be honest, sugar is worse than cocaine. It's definitely full-fledged crack, because it changed how your mind works, it changed how your brain functions. um I forget, it starts with a G. It's not glucanol, glucoside, something like that. But it's what your brain works off of, and it can take it from sugar, and it's like on tap, delicious, and like lightning, or it can um, essentially turn fat and carbohydrates that you eat into that stuff. And that's a longer process, a more involved process. It affects your metabolism, affects your body, and that means your body is working properly. Or sugar, which is on tap, it just, and we got the juice, right? And sugar is the bad one. But that's a change that I'll never be able to overcome, right? Sugar is in literally everything. And that's one of the reasons why I started smoking meat and doing these vegetables and everything, is specifically because I wanted to regain control over my diet. And I know it sounds crazy, but so far, like, I'll be honest with you, I ate a ridiculous amount of steak today. It's beef tenderloin, so it's super tender, super fatty, super delicious. It's great. And I made my own like spice rub and everything. It's a great concoction. I'll eat more of that and more vegetables that I've cooked in the smoker than any buffet meal that I've ever had or anything like that. And I will, within an hour, I'll feel great. I will. I'll feel fantastic. And um, that's one of the greatest changes that I've experienced through this process, was that knowing or enacting the knowledge that I had, um, and then seeing it come to fruition like this, especially after doing a 96-hour fast, which is 4 days, right? Like, it's not, and a lot of people are like, that's insane, right? It's not that bad, but I hear of other people who do like 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay. And I aspire to be able to do that. Um, but I don't know if that's going to be helpful for me. I know that like all the information that I've looked up tells me that after 3 days, your body kind of peaks out at what it starts doing, and that's it starts producing growth hormones and stem cell and starts repairing stuff that needs repairing, right? I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of, I'm starting to develop loose skin, which is like, yes, gross. But if I can go the distance, I even already talked to my doctor. He goes, if you go the distance, I already got a guy lined up for you. It's because doctors are happy to celebrate that kind of success, right? So that being said, it comes down to the changes I want. So fasting is supposed to help uh, minimize that loose skin feeling and cause that healing. I also have varicose veins that are quite painful at times, especially when the weather changes and when it rains. I have my knees are shot, all those kind of things, and I'm like, okay, if I do the fasting, which more than 3 days, that will help. And I do find help with inflammation and all sorts of stuff. It's a great idea, right? But I'm seeing the results from changing how I interact with food on a daily basis. And that's one of those things that really um, reinforces the idea of embracing change. It is one of the hardest things I've had to do, and my wife will attest. I do not do it well. I hate when things change, but I'm trying my best on a daily basis to be more adaptable. There was a quote I used the other day, which was around the idea of doing something new every single day, or challenging yourself every single day, or doing something you don't like every single day. It's not the best thing. It's more so the perfect treatment of oneself to get the most or the most beneficial return on your existence. Today, I saw a meme where it suggested, instead of going to something like a vacation where you get like buffets and on the beach and everything's great, they're like, take 2 weeks or a week, go somewhere horrible and do something just that sucks. That way, when you come back to your own life, you're like, man, this is so much better. And I was like, oh, I hate how logically that works so well. That's, oh no, it's a horrible idea. But realistically, it's not a bad thought process to do as an experiment to see how we're affected. Because I know for myself, if I go somewhere for a week, I don't feel rested. And if I go for 2 weeks, I feel anxious to come home. And then I found out there's been research on this, and that 10 days is a great amount of time where you can kind of decompress from your existence and live in the moment, and then it's an opportune time to come kind of back into the mix. It's the same idea behind sleep, right? Sleep happens in increments of about, I think it's 90 minutes, an hour and a half, where you really maximize your REM sleep and come back down. So that idea of following that trend is very beneficial for you in the long run, and it is very helpful for your body to get the maximum amount of benefit. Now, is that perfect? Am I a scientist? No, and no, but it's worth trying, right? Well, I know a friend of mine. We talk regularly. I've known her since we were quite young, and one of those things where neither of us get good sleep, but it's definitely something that uh, can make a huge change. And even with my wife, we are actively trying to figure out ways where it's like, okay, can we take a nap? Is this going to hurt our evening? Can we go to bed a little bit earlier? And trying to manage that idea or that experience, because for all intents and purposes, it is a change that we will immediately see the benefit. And the problem is that we will eventually want to do other things, and that's a horrible idea. But that's the whole idea, is that if we stay consistent with that idea of change, it becomes one of those positive things that we can kind of roll with and use it as our positive experience. So I think I'll leave it there, is that while change is one of the most difficult things through this experience, it is one of the key components to creating that positive spin and a change of perspective that allows, I know for myself, to be able to see things in a different way and approach things in a different way. And that gives me the ability to uh, uh, progress to new skills, new experiences, and new understandings, which, oh, sorry, Serge, I'm just about finished. But yeah, so new experiences, new platforms, new areas of expertise. And that's the ultimate goal. Because, well, we get to a point we always want to sit on our laurels. We want to just enjoy and relax. And who doesn't want that? Everyone wants that. The problem is that nothing good comes from it. And that's why it's embracing change, while difficult, is a key component to our progress. So, apologies to Serge. Sorry you're late, buddy. I'm on time. I try and be on time. It's a thing. I enjoy it. So, this has been Unsupervised Consequences, day 38, and my name is Dino the Genetic Marvel. So please like, subscribe, follow me on all my channels. If you think this is beneficial to someone, please feel free to share it on your own page or to them directly. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and I will answer them immediately, as I do with everything else. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll be